Another week has come and gone, and we find ourselves looking at the latest movie trailers. Now, first up, we looked at London Has Fallen, which is the new one by Gerard Butler. It's a sequel to 2012's Olympus Has Fallen, where it's essentially just your normal president going to get captured, superhero type. Well, not superhero, but hero saves the day. Now, what did you think of the trailer?
Well, I wasn't a big fan of the first film, Olympus Has Fallen. I feel like there wasn't anyone decent in the movie to me to even enjoy, because normally you have action films like that where you have kind of a charismatic kind of lead actor in the film that kind of saves it from what is essentially dross viewing. And now, when I watched Olympus Has Fallen, it was full of dreadful CGI and terrible casting, I thought, personally. So I wasn't a big fan of the film. So watching the trailer, it doesn't seem to have improved on its mistakes in the first film, personally, for me. It doesn't get me excited in any sense for London Has Fallen at all. I think the concept is quite ridiculous. There's no interest from me after watching that trailer, and I actually think it could be potentially worse than Olympus Has Fallen, if that's even possible. But I know you're a fan of Olympus Has Fallen, so what did you think?
I really liked it. My worry about, I really liked the first film. I thought it didn't take its tales too seriously, and because of that, it was just good fun. Really, it all took place in the White House. You know, it didn't really go out much further than that. I will agree. You know, the CGI in that wasn't great in it. But it wasn't as bad as the other one, White House Down. That was a bad film. I think the trailer looks... I personally think they've gone in the wrong direction with it. They shouldn't open it up. They should keep it nice and secluded into one area, and then that way you can have a bit like what the Raid did, what Dread did, you know, that type of thing. I think that's what made the first one so good, but I think that's what's kind of let this one down.
So next trailer we watched was Alice Through the Looking Glass, which is the sequel to Alice in Wonderland, the massive hit a few years back, the Tim Burton directed film. So we saw the trailer. Personally, I've not actually seen the first film, so kind of watching the trailer myself wasn't, again, a bit like Olympus Has Fallen. It doesn't really have a lot of effect on me. Again, I feel with something like Alice in Wonderland, there's only so much you can really do, and if you're going to go past of what is the basic kind of concept of the storyline, that's where stuff can go really wrong. But I suppose after the amount of money it took for the first film, the sequel's inevitable. That's my thoughts on the trailer. Nothing really stands out for me. Again, looks like Johnny Depp being his ridiculous self, and it looks very Burton-esque, so I'm not too sure why he hasn't directed this one. But what was your thoughts on the trailer?
I'm exactly the same. I watched the first film. I didn't mind it when it first came out. I actually thought the first film was too long. It just went on for way too long. So I'm hoping the same is not going to happen within this one. The sequel looks all right. You know, from the trailer, it's nice to see a returning cast. It's good to see. I think it's Sacha Baron Cohen as well, just going to be randomly taking a bigger role in it. But you know, I think that it will take a hit because it's a Burton film that's not being led by Tim Burton. But other than that, I mean, you know, there wasn't massively anything there that kind of stood out. You know, there was anything any different. There's no different way of telling a story, and I think that will probably hit it hard. Next one on the list we watched was the latest the latest trailer for the Warcraft movie. This was the first one that we've actually managed to see. They've released a couple of teasers here and there. It's been more posters more than anything else, but this is the actual first full-length trailer. Now, I'm not a massive fan of the games. Like, I've never really played them, so I couldn't honestly say as a gamer that I could be looking forward to it. But as a movie fan, I definitely, after seeing the trailer, I'm a little bit disappointed. I think that they're almost trying to pull in the emotional effect of, say, something like The Lord of the Rings, but not have anything behind it. So as a film fan, you know, I could easily turn around and say, well, there doesn't look to be much of a story. You've kind of got the orcs there, and then it's kind of like, let's save the orcs. but without like a big name behind it, I think it's going to suffer. And from the trailer itself, there was really no buzz. There was nothing there. There was no like excitement. You know, it's not like when you saw Lord of the Rings, for instance, and that the feature trailer for that was amazing. This just doesn't really seem to have the same zazz about it.
I mean, yeah, I kind of agree actually. Actually, mostly agree, really. I mean, I think we've dibbled and dabbled quite a lot in the kind of fantasy kind of genre for a long time. I mean, like you said, with Lord of the Rings being standout and superb, one of the best fantasy films, you know, in that kind of sense, kind of dominating it really. But I mean, with the Hobbit films that came out were kind of underwhelming. I mean, no one really seemed to enjoy them as much as they did Lord of the Rings. They were a bit too long. They longed out a tiny book of 200 pages to 3 films, and now with Warcraft, as far as I know, there's no kind of actual story to the game. It's all very free roam, and you know, is that kind of game. There's no actual story to it. So, I mean, making a feature length, massive kind of production of a game that has no storyline is worrying. And you can see they put a lot of money and time into this. I mean, director Duncan Jones, who was behind Moon with Sam Rockwell a few years back, and that was a brilliant independent film with really good use of CGI and practical effects. Obviously having him as the director for Warcraft is an interesting choice, but I mean, again, it's not one that I'm really interested in, and again, it's going to be hopefully, I hope it's not going to be one of these fantasy films that comes out and no one's interested in watching, because I like these kind of films, but for me, a lot of them do seem very repetitive, and this, like I said, doesn't have much kind of pizzazz or have kind of any kind of interest in me wanting to watch it. It doesn't have that goosebump summer blockbuster feel when you watch a trailer, say like a Batman vs Superman or a Star Wars trailer. It makes you want to watch it 10 times in a row and get really excited for it. So it's not one I'm really interested in, and I think we're kind of on the same page with that one with Warcraft.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next trailer we watched was for the Will Smith NFL drama Concussion. So that follows a true story of a doctor who actually wanted to highlight the risk of concussion that the NFL players are obviously susceptible to when playing the game. So it looks like kind of Will Smith is coming back out from doing these kind of action movies again and wanting to kind of go towards this more dramatic kind of road again. I mean, I think he really wants this Oscar. He really wants something that he can have to look back on his career to say, right, well, I did really well here. I got an award. I got recognition, and he might get a nomination for this. Maybe he does look really good. But again, for me, I think it looks very Will Smith.
Yeah.
I think we've seen this before.
Seen 7 pounds. We've seen Ali. We've seen
Pursuit of Happiness and stuff like that. So I think it looks really interesting. The story itself is really interesting. It looks really well shot.
Great cast.
Great cast. I mean, Albert Brooks. We're big fans of Albert Brooks. Yeah. Will Smith does look good. What are your thoughts on it?
Much the same. I think that a trailer like this, you're not necessarily going to get like goosebumps. It's never going to be like, oh my god, this is amazing, I've got to go and see this. But I think it's one that has more longevity than anything else. Like, I think people will see this over a longer period of time, so you need the reviews to kind of back it up. I think from the way that it looks like, I mean, it felt to me like some of the stuff within the trailer was just repeating itself. So I'm a little bit worried that probably a film like this, you're probably going to be looking at about 2.5 hour runtime. I'm worried that then we're going to get into the same like repetition of people's views and opinions throughout it, especially, you know, judging by the NFL in general, like concussions and things like that. I'm worried that we're going to get the same stuff almost just being thrown at us the whole way through. But I think other than that, I think it's a decent drama. It's coming out. Trailer says around Christmas, so it's probably going to be around that time anyway, just in time for the award season. So who knows? Let us know what you think. So the last trailer we decided to watch this week was for the Hateful Eight. So Quentin Tarantino is back. There's been a lot of controversy around this film because originally when he went to go and film it, he had a script that was leaked, and then he decided to just rewrite it and do the film anyway. So this is probably going to be slightly different to that script that was leaked online. The trailer looks amazing. It really does look good. I think just he's done exactly what he does. The fact of the matter is, I mean, from the opening credit that comes up on that trailer. It's only his eighth film. You know, it's amazing.
It seems crazy, doesn't it? It doesn't seem like it's only his 8th film. It feels like he's done so much more. But that's what I love about Tarantino. I mean, as you all know, I absolutely love Tarantino. It's probably my favourite director of all time, and I think this new film really does look great. I mean, like you said about the whole script change. Apparently, he's only changed the ending, but how much he's changed, I'm not actually too sure. He hasn't really kind of clarified that, but it's going to be his longest film to date. It looks absolutely stunning, and it is what it feels like an all-star kind of Tarantino cast from all his past movies, like Bruce Stern, Michael Madsen, Tim Roth, Samuel Jackson, all of them kind of put together in this one kind of epic movie. What seems like it's going to be like 3 hours, and it's got all the ingredients of a kind of a Tarantino movie. You know, witty kind of catchphrases and kind of a lot of face-offs, kind of a lot of violence, journeys, character development, and all set in this kind of snowy location with Kurt Russell's amazing moustache, which is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I mean, I have to admit though, when I did see the first trailer, I was a little bit disappointed. But after seeing this one, I think we're kind of exposed to a lot more footage, and what we've got on its way with the film is just coming out in January time for us and Christmas time for America. I'm really excited to see it, and I love every single one of Tarantino's movies, so I'm massively excited to see it, and I really want to see it in film and not on digital, because we're treated to that extra 15 minutes what we covered a few weeks back in our video. You like Tarantino though, so is this something that you think will be as good as his previous work, or do you think he's kind of dabbling in this Western kind of direction a bit too much after Django?
I actually think it's possibly one of the better directions for him to go in, because I don't know why, but there was something about the trailer that just didn't look like a Tarantino film. Like, there's not like that. Like the first trailer for Django, for instance, was very gritty and it was very raw, and it was just like Django. You know, like you had like a lot of. It just felt like you were watching a Western film, like whereas this doesn't necessarily feel like it. Yeah, exactly. And this just kind of feels slightly different, but in a good way. So it doesn't feel like you're not going to sit down and then watch another Django. It feels like you're watching another story. It feels like you're watching something else develop. And that, I think, is what is making me the most excited about it.
Okay, so that rounds up our trailer reactions. So this is one of our new videos that we've been trying out to do for a little while. Do let us know what you think, because we would love to do some more in the future. Obviously, if you feel like there's any kind of trailers that we did miss out on, give us a shout and we can do the reaction and let you know what we thought on them. We'll be looking to do a lot more of these in the future, so again, subscribe, like our videos, and I'll see you later guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Bye.
See ya.